What's up, fantasy managers? Welcome back to another episode of the First Pitch Podcast brought to you by PitcherList.com. My name is Jake Crumpler, and I'll be your host for this edition of the podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake Crumpler, and you can find all of my work at CrumplerBaseball.com. Let's dive into everything baseball related from Sunday, April 27th, starting it off, as always, with the transactions, injuries, news, and notes from around the league. We'll start it off with the bad news as relief pitcher AJ Minter was placed on the 15-day IL with a lat strain. He was the top option for holds for the Mets throughout this season. So him going to the IL is somewhat unfortunate for that bullpen. Jose Urania was selected from the minors in a corresponding move, but he will not be the top option for holds moving forward. In Queens, it will be Ryan Stanek and Reed Garrett will be the top setup options for the Mets, with AJ Minter on the IL with a lat strain. In terms of transactions, starting pitcher Jack Leiter was activated from the 15-day IL on Sunday. He had been out with a middle finger blister. He faced the Giants in San Francisco in his return, tossing 3 1/3 innings, allowing 2 hits and 2 earned runs, walking 4 while striking out 3. He induced 4 whiffs and 20% CSW across 76 pitches. Leiter could not find strikes with his fastball or his slider, so that forced him to incorporate a somewhat new sinker for 20% of the time, for 73% strikes. That was pretty good for the sinker, but he didn't have the feel for the fastball and slider, so that's why he struggled in this one, and he should be in better rhythm next time out. We saw that in his first 2 starts, how electric he can be when he's got that fastball and slider working, and Leiter gets the Mariners next in Texas, so I think he'll be starting him there. Next, we have starting pitcher Logan Evans, who was selected from the minors by the Mariners to make his MLB debut on Sunday. He was a 12th round pick in 2023 and is the number 10 Seattle prospect, according to MLB Pipeline. Fangraphs gives his slider a 70 grade, while Pipeline has it at 55 grade, but it was not great on Sunday versus the Marlins. Evans went 5 innings, allowing 2 hits and 2 earned runs while walking 3 and striking out 3, inducing 4 whiffs across 17% CSW with 78 pitches. Evans went cutter, sinker, sweeper, changeup, curve in this one, but it was his least thrown offering, the 4-seamer, that led the arsenal with a pair of whiffs. He threw a lot of sweepers to right-handed batters and sort of went kitchen sink versus lefties, and the sweeper went 0% CSW, and that's the pitch that all of the prospect evaluators suggest is his best pitch. So that's not a great sign. I'm going to have to wait to see more from Logan Evans before jumping in fantasy. Next, we have second baseman Thomas Sagasi, who was optioned to the minors by the Cardinals. He was platooning with Nolan Gorman at second base and DH and put up a 156 WRC plus to start the year. But with Mason Wynn returning, Sagasi was not going to see a lot of playing time because Brendan Donovan was taking over at second base. So Jose Barrero was selected from the minors in a corresponding move to replace Sagasi on the roster. He used to be a top Reds prospect, but now he plays for the Cardinals. He put up a 150 WRC plus at AAA with notable adjustments to his plate discipline. However, I don't think Barrero is going to get a lot of playing time. He's going to be a backup utility infielder for the Cardinals moving forward. In terms of news, outfielder Dalton Varsho is expected to be activated from the 10-day IL tomorrow on Tuesday. He's been out for the entire season after undergoing off-season shoulder surgery. He's not hit so well during his rehab assignment, so it's a possibility we see Varsho platooned in the outfield to ease him back into action after missing so much time with this surgery. But I think Varsho should be rostered in 15-team leagues. In the past couple of years, he's put up power speed numbers in accordance with the 2015 pace, but he's going to struggle to put up a pretty good batting average. Probably should expect something below 230 for Dalton Varsho, but I think he's going to get a lot of playing time for the Blue Jays and has some great power and speed. Nathan Lukes and Alan Rodin are likely to see the largest decrease in playing time on the Blue Jays. Next, we have starting pitcher Lucas Giolito, who's expected to be activated from the 15-day IL on Wednesday. He has missed the entire season with a hamstring strain, and in 5 rehab starts across AA and AAA, Giolito's put up a 5.19 ERA. He'll get the Blue Jays in Toronto in his first start. You may want to bench him for that one, see how that goes, but Giolito definitely needs to be rostered universally. And lastly, we have relief pitcher Devin Williams, and I note relief pitcher because Aaron Boone noted that he will be removed from the closer role for now. So it looks like Luke Weaver will be getting the bulk of save opportunities for the Yankees moving forward until Devin Williams figures his stuff out. Now let's take a look at some of the notable performances from Sunday, a day in which we had a full slate of 16 games as the Blue Jays and Yankees partook in a doubleheader. We'll start it off with our hitters, leading off with Andy Pages, who helped the Dodgers to win versus the Pirates, going 4 for 5 with a run, a home run, and 4 runs batted in. It was his 5th homer of the year, and it traveled 406 feet at 105 miles per hour. Pages got off to a really slow start, batting 118 with no homers through his first 11 games, and I was sort of concerned that he might start losing some of his playing time because there's so much talent on that Dodgers roster. If somebody struggles, you might as well send him back to the minors and let some other great prospect come up and take over for him. But they let him figure his stuff out. And since then, he's been incredible. He homered in back-to-back games immediately following those 11 games and has been on fire, batting .388 with all 5 of his homers on the season in 14 games. That's for Andy Pages. He's playing every day in this incredible, dangerous Dodgers lineup. And so I think he's a must roster in 5 outfielder, 15-team leagues. That's Andy Pages. Next, we have outfielder Ceddanne Rafaela, who helped the Red Sox to win in Cleveland, going 2 for 4 with a run, a double, a home run, and 5 runs batted in. It was his 2nd homer of the year, and it traveled 406 feet at 108 miles per hour. Rafaela had a somewhat disappointing yet underrated 2024. It seems counterintuitive, but he batted just .246. But he did put up 15 homers and 19 steals with 145 runs plus RBI. And we are seeing improvements across the board this year from Rafaela. He's walking more and striking out less, and significantly in both of those departments. He's improved his StatCast metrics as well. We've seen an improved barrel rate and hard hit rate, but he may struggle to tap into his limited power if he doesn't pull fly balls. We're seeing Rafaela hit more ground balls this year and pull the ball less, so he's probably not going to see an increase to that 15 home run total we saw last year. But I think that batting average is going to improve, meaning the runs and RBI should improve as well. That Red Sox lineup is improved this year as well. So I think fantasy managers are going to be happy rostering Ceddanne Rafaela all year long. And lastly, we have outfielder Anthony Santander, who did all he could, but the Blue Jays lost both of their games to the Yankees in the Bronx. Santander went 0 for 4 with a walk in the first game, but then went 1 for 3 with a run, a home run, an RBI, and a walk. In the second game, it was his 3rd homer of the year, and it traveled 401 feet at 105 miles per hour. I've always been a huge fantasy fan of Anthony Santander because of his consistency, but last year's breakout sort of pushed him up draft boards this offseason. However, with his jersey change, there was added uncertainty to a guy like Santander that previously lacked any semblance of uncertainty. And this year, it's been really unfortunate in his debut season in Toronto, batting just .179 with a .563 OPS. He's hit way too many ground balls, and he's trying to pull everything. And his StatCast metrics suggest that something is really wrong, either health-wise or mechanically, because he's got a career low barrel rate. He's not hitting the ball hard consistently. I'd expect Santander to figure things out at some point this season, but it may not be for a while. It may not be until the second half when he finally gets a break, but we'll see. I have a lot of confidence in Santander overall throughout the length of his contract with the Blue Jays, but this season might be a bust for the first couple of months. But if you'd like a breakdown of other notable hitting performances from Sunday, check out the Daily Batters Box article over on PitcherList.com. Now we'll head to the mound and check out some notable starting pitching performances, opening with Brayan Bello, who helped the Red Sox to win in Cleveland, going 6 innings, allowing 6 hits and 3 earned runs while walking 3 and striking out 4. He induced 10 whiffs with 21% CSW across 99 pitches. Bello faced a left-handed heavy lineup for the Guardians, and he could not get his changeup low enough for it to work. Just 2 whiffs and 19% CSW on the pitch. But it's a field pitch, and this is just his second start of the year, so I expect him to figure that out as he gets into the season. His four-seamer was pretty good, earning whiffs upstairs with 4 whiffs and 24% CSW, but it sailed out of the zone way too often as he threw it for just 44% strikes. And then with the slider, he either hung them or he threw great pitches. He had 71% strikes on the sliders, meaning he was getting them in the zone, but just 4 whiffs there too, but just 21% CSW, as a lot of those were put in play. And then the sinker did a pretty good job of keeping Bello in counts, earning 74% strikes, no whiffs, but 21% CSW as it was stealing strikes all night. I think Bello's going to settle in as he does that. He's going to have a better feel for his changeup and his fastball, and thus the locations of those pitches will be better. He'll keep that fastball in the zone and keep the changeup below the zone, and thus will earn more whiffs and strikes moving forward. I think I'm going to roster Bello in the majority of leagues right now. He gets the Twins next. Next, we have Jordan Hicks, who helped the Giants to a win versus the Rangers, tossing 5 innings, allowing 7 hits and 2 earned runs. He walked nobody while striking out 3, inducing 10 whiffs with 29% CSW across 84 pitches. Hicks's sinker was back down to 94, and that allowed him to locate it much better. We've seen him pump that pitch up to 99 miles per hour on average throughout a start. So it's interesting to see him pull back on the velocity to help him with his control. We saw 68% strikes on the sinker, no whiffs, but 26% CSW as it was stealing strikes. But it was the sweeper that stepped up big time for 70% strikes with 8 whiffs and 35% CSW. And while Hicks did find a lot of success on balls in play, that's sort of the goal with throwing that sinker in the zone. It's a bowling ball sinker. It gets a lot of ground balls. And with the great defense behind him in San Francisco, I think Hicks wants to be throwing that sinker for strikes and then the breakers for whiffs. So if he can end at bats early by getting a swing on a sinker in the zone, that's probably for the best. It's probably going to be a ground ball. And so pretty much as long as either the sweeper or the splitter show up, I think Hicks is going to be able to succeed. He should be rostered in all 15-team leagues, and he's on the verge of 12-teamers, and he may break out in his next start as he gets Rocky Road, the Rockies in San Francisco. And lastly, we have Nick Lodolo, who helped the Reds to a win in Colorado, tossing 7 shutout innings, allowing just 2 hits and 1 walk while striking out 9. He induced 15 whiffs with 27% CSW across and through 91 pitches. Lodolo faced exclusively right-handed batters against the Rockies, and we're starting to see that curveball become a legitimate whiff pitch for him this year. He's throwing it back foot, which is very Chris Sale-esque, and that's the comparison Lodolo has always drawn in terms of starters. Lodolo struck out just 8 batters in his first 3 starts, but he's now struck out 18 across his last 3, and I think it's thanks to that curveball becoming a weapon for him down and inside to right-handed batters. He threw it for 75% strikes and 6 whiffs and 45% CSW on Sunday. And then he had impeccable command of his changeup arm side, 81% strikes on the pitch for 3 whiffs and 23% CSW, while the sinker and 4-seamer thrived upstairs for Lodolo, combining for 6 whiffs and 22% CSW. And it really looks like we're witnessing the emergence of Nick Lodolo, the breakout we've been waiting for a long time. 2.25 ERA, 0.86 whip through 6 starts on the year for Lodolo. And we're starting to see the strikeouts tick up as that curveball becomes a legitimate weapon. All we can hope for now is for Lodolo to stay healthy. He gets the Nationals next, and that's a clear must start, in my opinion. But if you'd like a breakdown of every single start from Sunday, give the Plus Pitch podcast a listen and check out Nick's daily SP roundup over on pitcherlist.com. Now we'll head to the bullpen and check out the relievers that got saves and the closers that pitched outside of save situations or blew their save. Starting with the former, Pete Fairbanks recorded his 6th save with a perfect 9th. Justin Martinez worked around a run to record his 3rd save. Yoendry Gomez recorded the 1st save of his career. It was of the 3-inning variety as he tossed 3 shutout innings, allowing just 4 hits, walking nobody while striking out 4. That's Yoendry Gomez. Andres Munoz recorded his 10th save with the perfect 9th. He's tied with Robert Suarez for the MLB lead, and he currently leads the American League with those 10 saves. And lastly, Jordan Romano recorded his 2nd save with the perfect 10th. Jose Alvarado pitched a perfect 9th in that one as the game was tied, and he earned his 3rd win after the Phillies took the lead in extras. In terms of closers to pitch outside of save situations or blow their saves, Luke Jackson allowed a walk-off Little League homer to Helio Ramos. Definitely worth, the highlight is definitely worth the watch. Maybe, and I'm not just saying that as a Giants fan, but Luke Jackson took his 3rd loss as a result. Robert Suarez allowed a run pitching the 9th down by 1 for the Padres. He last pitched on Tuesday, so it made sense here to get some maintenance work. Mason Miller struck out the side in the 9th inning of a tie game, looking as dominant as ever. The A's would go on to win that game in 10 innings. Luke Weaver pitched a perfect 9th up by 4. The Yankees added an insurance run in the 8th, so he was set up for the save before that. And Ryan Presley pitched a hitless 9th in a tie game that the Cubs would go on to lose in 10 innings. But if you'd like more information on relievers, check out Rick Graham's weekly articles over on pitcherlist.com. And before we look forward to today's games, we're going to take a quick break. Now we'll look forward to Monday, April 28th, a day in which we'll have just 8 games on the slate. My matchup of the day is Bailey Ober versus Gavin Williams. I love both of these pitchers, have them both on my home league team. So honestly, this is going to be a tough one to watch because you never know who to root for when you got 2 guys on your fantasy team scoring off against each other, especially in a league that records wins and losses. So fingers crossed, both of them get a quality start. One of them gets a win and the other one doesn't have to deal with the loss. But I'm hoping both of them do well, and it should be a good interdivision matchup. In terms of probable starters, we've got 2 guys in our auto starts tier including Jack Flaherty in Houston and Dustin May versus the Marlins. In our probably starts tier, we've got 3 guys, and that's where we'll find our streamer of the day in Nick Martinez as he takes on the Cardinals in Cincinnati. Martinez is a Toby, and this is a pretty decent matchup. That Cardinals lineup is not scary. I think Martinez is worth your attention on Monday. I'd also keep an eye out for Griffin Canning as he takes on the Nationals in our nation's capital. Canning has been very solid to start the year, just 1 outing over 2 earned runs. And I think he can handle the Nationals here. It's a bit risky as I don't really believe in Canning's stuff or his abilities, but he's having success early in the season, so you might as well run him out there for that one. In terms of hitter suggestions, I go for Mets hitters versus Trevor Williams. He is not great, definitely major league caliber, but I think the Mets should be able to take advantage of facing Trevor Williams on Monday. I'd also go for Braves and Rockies hitters in Coors Field on Monday. The pitching matchup is Bryce Elder versus Ryan Feltner, so go ahead and target some left-handed hitting Braves and Rockies hitters. And I will close things out with our relievers to watch. Luke Jackson has pitched in 3 of the past 4 days, but so have Chris Martin and Robert Garcia. So maybe we see Jacob Webb get a save opportunity on Monday. And lastly, Justin Martinez has pitched on back-to-back days and has been dealing with shoulder fatigue early in the season, so I wouldn't expect him to push him for a 3rd straight day. I would expect Shelby Miller or Jalen Beeks to get a save opportunity for the Diamondbacks on Monday. But that'll do it for today's episode of the First Pitch Podcast. Make sure to head on over to pitcherlist.com to check out all of the great features, great articles, and features we have on the site. Sign up for PL Plus or PL Pro to gain access to the Discord and to support the Pitcher List staff. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake Crumpler. Tune in live on YouTube tomorrow and every day for a new installment of the podcast. And make sure to enjoy the day as we are blessed with another day of baseball.